Hey everyone, have you ever wondered how far you would go if an authority figure told you to do something? Would you shock a stranger if they told you it was necessary? Let's dive into the Milgram experiment, one of the most shocking, literally and psychologically, studies in the history of psychology. Back in 1961, Stanley Milgram, a psychologist at Yale University, wanted to understand why people obey orders, even when those orders conflict with their moral beliefs. Inspired by the Nuremberg trials, where Nazi officers claimed they were just following orders, Milgram designed an experiment to see just how far ordinary people would go under authoritative pressure. Here's how it worked. Participants were told they were part of a study on learning. They were assigned the role of teacher and instructed to administer electric shocks to a learner, who was actually an actor, every time they answered a question incorrectly. The participants believed the shocks were real even though they weren't. The shock machine had labels ranging from mild to danger-severe shock at 450 volts. As the voltage increased, the learner would scream, beg to stop, and eventually fall silent, all part of the act. However, the real experiment was about obedience, not learning. If the teacher hesitated, the experimenter dressed in a lab coat would urge them to continue with prompts like, "Please continue. The experiment requires that you continue. You have no other choice. You must go on." So what were the results? Shockingly, 65% of participants administered the maximum 450 volts despite believing they were inflicting serious harm. No one stopped before 300 volts, even when the learner screamed in pain. Many participants showed extreme stress, sweating, trembling, or even laughing nervously, but they still continued. Milgram's experiment revealed a chilling truth. Most people will obey authority even when it means harming someone else. Here are a few key takeaways. Authority overrides morality. When instructed by an authority figure, people feel less personally responsible for their actions. Social pressure is powerful. The presence of an authoritative figure makes people more likely to obey, even when uncomfortable. Small steps lead to extreme actions. People didn't start with 450 volts, they built up gradually, making it easier to justify each step. So what does this mean for us today? Question authority. Just because someone in power gives an order doesn't mean it's right. Trust your morals. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Recognize manipulation. Be aware of when you're being pressured to obey without thinking critically. Milgram's findings are still relevant today, from workplace hierarchies to social movements. It raises an important question. Would you have obeyed? Let's discuss in the comments.